Guess what?
What?
We might be going to Lake Doric for Living World Episode 4.
Didn't you just make a video about how Lake Doric won't ever be coming?
Right? But we might get another version of it.
Okay, we'll see.
And hello YouTube, this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'm going to tell you a brand new video for Gaming with GS. Today we're here on Guild Wars 2, and we're going to talk about Living World Season 3, Episode 4, The Head of the Snake. The trailer was just released, and it's going to be coming February 7th. We're almost there, only a few days away. Hopefully you enjoyed the little skit that me and my girlfriend did before the video, and thank you for being patient for the past few days. Been kind of busy, so that's why this video is kind of late, but I gotta tell you, I'm excited for this new episode to come because we're finally going to Kryta. Now, a few days ago, we did get an article released on Massively, I think, where they gave word on a new map that's coming, the release of the episode, obviously, a new raid wing coming, and we've already talked about this, but our Basin's getting nerfed, and we knew about that already. And apparently there are some new hairstyles coming in as well. So all of that and probably even more that we don't know about that the internet hasn't released yet or hasn't talked about will be coming this coming Tuesday. That's coming up next, February 7th. Now, along the way, Heart of Thorns is also going to be 50% off. Right now, it is 50% off, so if you don't have Heart of Thorns yet, and I've made videos in the past talking about Heart of Thorns, whether it's worth it or not, and I continuously stand by my decision that it's worth it. It's worth the $40 price tag, but if you feel that that isn't true, if you feel like it's not worth $40, well then get it for $20, because right now it's 50% off until February 8th, I believe it is. So if you haven't gotten the expansion yet, go out and get it. I think you're gonna love it, and for $20, it's a real deal. Now, in the background for today's footage, you will see some PvP footage of me on my Ellie and my Guardian, but you will also see some screenshots that we got, as well as the footage from the trailer. I'm going to be talking about the trailer, discussing some things that I liked about it, some speculation, some things that I noticed, and I'll have it play in the background a few times for you to watch if you haven't seen it yet. But I do recommend you to watch the actual video on the Guild Wars 2 YouTube channel with the audio, because I think you're going to like it. I will have the link to the trailer in the description down below. Now, is it possible that we will be getting Lake Doric again? As I talk about the trailer, you'll see me make several references towards Divinity's Reach and how it could possibly be in the same location Lake Doric may be, how the new map we're getting may be in that area, and it's possible we could be getting Lake Doric. Now, I did make a video a few days ago, or earlier this week actually, talking about how Lake Doric will probably never come. And that is still true. I do think we will never get the version of Lake Doric that we know it to be, and we'll probably never get the version of Lake Doric that they had created, or that Lindsay Murdoch commented on earlier in the week or last week. So that version we'll probably never get. Maybe we won't even get a map that's called Lake Doric. But I do think we're going to get a map around Divinity's Reach where Lake Doric would be. They may call it that, they may not call it that, it may be another version of it, but I think we're still going to get that map that they were working on. It may just be a new rendition of it, it may be a new iteration of it, they may have changed some things on it, but I'm happy to see that this map is just not being thrown out, it's not being just an empty spot on the map that we're never going to be able to explore. At least they are recreating it, and it seems like maybe one day we will have the opportunity to go to every area interior, because now they are releasing a map around Divinity's Reach where Lake Doric, you would think, is. We don't know what name of the map is yet, though. So we did get some screenshots released as well along with the trailer. One of them is of Queen Jenna, another one is of some Bloodstone Centaurs, and the last screenshot we got is of a town, which presumably would be an area in the new map. From the trailer, you can also see that the story is very heavily revolved around the White Mantle again. Also, it's very political, you know, maybe it has to deal with Codicus again. The Codicus storyline has basically been on a pause for the past 2 episodes or so. It's been since Bloodstone Fen where we saw him rise to power again with the White Mantle. We figured out he was the leader of the White Mantle, and that happened in Out of the Shadows. So I'm glad to see that storyline's picking up again, and maybe he'll be in this episode, maybe he won't be in this episode. We were given a word from a crack in the ice that Lord Codicus was in the Isles of Janthier, I believe, if I remember correctly, so maybe we won't even see him at all in this episode, but it does deal with the White Mantle. Maybe they're acting on his behalf, but it's good to see our storyline continues. It also seems like from the trailer that Queen Jenna will be at risk. Will the queen be killed off? We do know that we're going to be protecting her, obviously, defending Divinity's Reach. You can tell from the trailer, there's several shots where Divinity's Reach is being attacked through cannons, and we're probably going to have to fight around Divinity's Reach, maybe even inside Divinity's Reach. Maybe there'll be story instances where you'll actually have to fight some things inside Divinity's Reach, just like it did with Lion's Arch, where you'd have to go into certain story instances and fight people inside Lion's Arch. Maybe we'll get something very similar to this as well. But you'll see the general gist of the trailer just shows you how it's going to be a political dispute of how we're going to protect Queen Jenna, and it gives you a cool few shots of some of the enemies we'll be facing, like some centaurs, like some elementals, and you also see a shot of Divinity's Reach being attacked by cannons. Now we'll go a little more in depth into that shot later on in the video, because I do have a few bits of information that I've gathered from other people and some observations that I've made as well. But in general, the trailer looks really cool. I would say this is probably another really well done trailer. It isn't very long, it's kind of short, but we do get a lot of content from it, I believe, in my opinion. And I think they did a really good job at portraying the story and giving you a really good idea what the story is going to be about. It's going to be about Divinity's Reach, it's going to be about Queen Jenna, and it's going to be about protecting the city from the White Mantle. Now, we also know that a new raid is coming as well. In the article released from Massively, they did say that a new raid is coming, and this was actually really surprising to me, because I had thought they weren't going to release another raid because they mentioned that legendary armor wasn't going to be around for another few months. So I'd figure that, hey, there's not going to be another raid, and usually we don't get a raid release with a Living World release, but it seems like they're now bringing both of those things into one update, a new raid and a new episode for Living World. This new raid is called the Bastion of the Penitent, and it's supposed to have 4 bosses. We do know that from recent AMAs and recent developer comments that they're going to try to put 4 bosses into this raid. It's not going to be any mini objectives like escorting or trying to get past certain puzzles. It's going to be 4 bosses, so it's going to be a pretty long raid. A lot of people are excited for it. The only problem I see is that people won't really know what to play. I mean, you'll have an option. Do you want to play raid when the patch comes out, or do you want to play the story when the patch comes out? That's something you're gonna have to decide. And if you haven't played the raid yet, you may want to stick away from social media or Reddit, because spoilers will probably be out there. Same thing, vice versa. You know, if you play the raid first, then you may see some spoilers on social media and Reddit from the story. So just heads up for that, but I think this is a great idea to release raid and a Living World. It goes to show you how much work they've really put in, and all that's being released this time around coming Tuesday. One thing I also noticed in the Massively article was that it was stated that a new portal was going to be in Bloodstone Fen. Now, whether this has something to do with the raid, whether it has something to do with Living World, I have no idea. Maybe it could be a whole new area we're going to, maybe some type of mini game, maybe some type of mini map, maybe it's some type of separate content from the Living World and the raid. No idea, but I'm very curious to see what is meant by that. The article just says there's going to be a new portal coming to Bloodstone Fen, and where this could lead us could be anywhere in Tyria. Maybe it could just be a way to get into Bloodstone Fen. I mean, that's something people have been criticizing a lot too, is that there's no real way to get into Bloodstone Fen. You just have to waypoint. There's no actual way to get there through portals. So perhaps this is going to be a way for us to get into Bloodstone Fen through a portal there. I don't think it's very likely though, because such a small change wouldn't be something that, you know, an article would mention, I would think. So it might be a little bigger than that, but I'm very curious to see where this portal brings us, because that's going to be something new coming as well. And speaking of new things coming, since the trailer does seem to be very focused around centaurs, maybe this leather farm that we've been discussing about in the last video, maybe this leather farm is going to deal with those centaurs. Now, I've seen a few people mention that the leather farm may have to deal with the raids, maybe it has to deal with The Fractal, level 40 Fractal. We do know that Auric Base is being nerfed, but then we do still have the level 40 Fractal form, which is also fairly profitable. Are they going to somehow, change some of the fractals so that leather becomes more of a drop there? Maybe they'll change scale 40 fractals so that leather becomes more of a farm there. Or maybe it's just going to be some type of event that you can farm in the new map that involves centaurs. You can farm for leather there. Could be any of those possibilities, but a new leather farm is coming, and I'm excited for that because everyone could use a bit more leather. In the trailer, we also see a Watchknight appear, and my thoughts on this is that it may be that it couldn't be anything super important. It may be just, some type of shot they wanted to include in there. Because we do know that they are related to Divinity's Reach, but I have seen some people say that this could be a tonic. We do know that the Kodan tonic was very successful in A Crack in the Ice in Bitterfrost Frontier, so perhaps they're going to continuously now, every new episode, create a new tonic for us to use, where we can actually use it for combat and for walking around. If this Watchknight becomes a tonic, that would be an amazing change and an amazing update, because that will allow us to play as a Watchknight, basically. A lot of people said that you can now play as a Kodan, as a race, basically, because you can play in combat, you can play going to different areas in the world, and if this is possible to Watchknight, this could be their new way of implementing new quote-unquote races, because you'll be able to play as these tonics, as these different things through tonics. So this can be a karma reward. That would be really cool. If it could be some type of reward from the story, that would be cool, and I'm looking forward to that. But the chances of it being a tonic are 50% chance. We do know the developers said they wanted to do something with that. They wanted to look into creating more tonics that revolve around combat and revolve around general gameplay, like with the Kodan tonic. So it could be very possible, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, I do think it's important to also touch on the subject of what's going to happen in Divinity's Reach. We obviously seen in the trailer that Divinity Reach is being attacked. This is obviously one of the main focuses of this episode, the attack on Divinity's Reach and the Queen. So the big question is Divinity's Reach going to be destroyed? What are these cannons hitting? And is this new Kryta map going to have a big impact on it being destroyed? That's kind of what I want to talk about right now. Now, from the trailer, you can see that cannons are attacking Divinity's Reach at one point. But what I think this is, and you can see it in one of the shots in the trailer, that the dam is what might be getting hit. There's a dam around Divinity's Reach, and what I think is going to happen is that these cannons are actually going to hit the dam around Divinity's Reach. The water is going to flow out, which would mean that Lake Doric is actually being drained, kind of. Where that water goes, whether it goes in Divinity's Reach, whether it goes into Queensdale, whether it just doesn't go anywhere and it's just drained completely, whether the world will have any physical changes, that would be really cool. If we saw some real physical change in Queensdale, if we saw some real physical changes in Divinity's Reach, that would be really awesome, because it is a living world, but I highly doubt that, because Queensdale's a starting area and Divinity's Reach is also a major city, so I don't think they're going to make huge changes. Besides, they did it with Lion's Arch, but it feels like that era is over now. They're done destroying cities and rebuilding it, so I don't think they're fully going to destroy Divinity's Reach. I don't think we're fully going to see any physical changes. It'll be really cool if they did, but I don't think it's going to happen. What I do think is going to happen is that one of the dams on either side of Divinity's Reach is going to be destroyed. There's probably going to be a gap there for us to enter. And if you pay close attention to the trailer, it looks like that we're going to get the map northeast of Divinity's Reach. So, speculation says that the east side of Divinity's Reach, the east dam, will be destroyed, and then we'll be able to enter that area through the breakage of the dam. That's a guess that I have. That's a guess a lot of people have. So whether that will be true, we'll have to wait and see. That will be a really interesting a way to enter the map, though, and it'll be a really interesting way to see if that makes any changes towards the dam. Maybe there'll be a new portal that opens up in Queensdale. That'll be really awesome. So that's my best guess there. In the trailer, we also saw a few creatures. We obviously saw centaurs. We also did see some oak hearts. And it seemed like Bloodstone is still a prevalent thing in the story, as these centaurs and these oak hearts where Bloodstone crazed. So we are going to be seeing those type of creatures that are still affected by the Bloodstone, that are still corrupted by the Bloodstone. And it seems like the Bloodstone is still going to have a very active part in the story. But it's good to see that we see familiar creatures like the Oak Hearts, familiar creatures like the Centaurs, which really brings the feel of the Kryta style to the map. I love the Kryta maps. Those are probably my favorite maps. Kessex Hills is a favorite map of mine. Queensdale is also a favorite map of mine. So I can't wait to see this new Kryta map be introduced. It's going to be the level 80 Kryta map that, you know, every area, and I said this in a previous video, every area has a level 80 map except for Kryta. So it's going to be really cool to see, or I should say every area has a high level map except for Kryta. So it's going to be really cool to see a level 80 map now be introduced in the Kryta area. That's something that was missing, and I'm glad they're adding that into the game. And in general, I just can't wait to see the map because I love the greenery type of maps. I love the type of maps that have a lot of forests in them. So this should be a really interesting map and should have some really great concept art. Should have a really cool loading screen, I'm hoping, and should graphically look really nice. So hopefully that materializes on Tuesday, and I'm just not having my hopes up here and being disappointed. So I'm hoping for a very green foresty type of map, and hopefully we get that. Apart from that, the story itself should be interesting because we have had several times in the past thought about how Queen Jenna could possibly be attacked, or how she could be taken down from the throne or whatnot. And that's always been something that's been on people's minds, including mine. So the story itself should be interesting. The Lord Kataka storyline has always been one that I've been very curious about. In fact, this entire patch is very curious to me. The portal in Bloodstone Fen, how they're going to introduce the new map, what's going to happen to Queen Jenna, if they're going to kill her off, if they're going to be able to protect her, is Divinity's Reach going to be destroyed? This is a patch that has a lot of questions come up. I think this is one of the patches that has me asking more questions than any other patch, and hopefully has you asking more questions as well, because this trailer opened up so many doors to different questions. I mean, if you look at some of the other trailers in the past, Ember Bay, Bitterfrost Frontier, Bloodstone Fen, I mean, yes, they do give us an idea of what type of map we're expecting. They give us an idea of what's going to be happening in the story, but I feel like this trailer specifically gives a lot of story and gives a lot of opportunity for players to ask questions. So it's very curious to see what's going to happen with a lot of these things. And I, for one, I know some people are going to be playing the raid first, but I, for one, I'm going to be playing the story first. I'm going to get that done as fast as possible because I'm very curious about it, but I do also want to give you a recap of the story. And if you're new to the channel, then be prepared to see videos on the new map, obviously, possibly a new gold trick if they introduce some type of new currency, or if they introduce a new way of making gold in the new map. We're definitely going to cover the leather farm, obviously, and I'm pretty sure they're going to bring some new fractal changes in, because they always bring new fractal changes in every single patch. Is there going to be coming a new fractal? I don't think there's going to be a new fractal. If a new fractal comes, though, that's going to be amazing, because then we have a new raid, a new fractal, a new map, a new episode for Living World. It's going to be a great patch then, but I don't think they're going to release a new fractal. They probably would have mentioned it by now. They probably would have hinted at it in the trailer, but who knows? Maybe they like to keep surprises, so that'd be really cool too. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to give you my opinions on a few things I saw in the trailer, give you a little recap of what's in the trailer. If you're looking to check out the trailer and haven't seen it yet, like I said, the link is in the description down below. And when Tuesday comes around, we'll definitely have another video summarizing the patch notes, so be prepared for that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the new videos that are coming out. We have plenty of other Guild Wars 2 guides in the channel, gold guides in the channel, update notes, summaries, speculation, opinions, discussions on the patch notes, discussion on parts of the game. So lots of cool stuff on the channel, and make sure you subscribe and hit the post notification bell at the bottom of the video. Any comments, questions, you want to talk about anything you're excited for, anything that you're speculating yourself or you think is going to happen, leave the comments down below in the comments section. And just a quick note, for some reason YouTube's been acting kind of weird. I've had a hard time replying to all of your comments, because usually what would happen is that when you log into YouTube, you have a little notification on the top right corner of your screen that says you have a certain amount of notifications. When you click that, it shows you all the new comments. Well, now apparently YouTube is also filtering in new uploads and updates from other channels, and now it's getting a lot harder to actually go through all these comments because there's a bunch of random notifications I don't really care about, and that's now there. So it's kind of frustrating to see that change happen, and it's making it more difficult and a lot less organized now, and a lot less organized way to go through your comments and reply to them all. So if you're wondering why I haven't replied to comments, that's pretty much why, because there's no systematic way of going about it now anymore, because notifications area has been screwed. So I'm going to try to find a way to look at your comments. The main problem is that I know a lot of you reply to some of my comments, and there's no way for me to actually see if you reply other than to go through the entire list of notifications, which takes forever. So I'll try to see if TubeBuddy has a way to filter comments as to those that have replies, that don't replies, to ones I haven't replied to yet. So I'll take a look at that. So if you're waiting for a reply on me, that's kind of why it hasn't happened yet. I'm also planning to do a giveaway this month, February. Don't know what date yet. I'm going to try for around Valentine's Day. I might give details on the giveaway next week. Try to see if I get a video up on that. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, keep updated with this giveaway that's coming up, I suggest you subscribe. I suggest you bookmark the channel somewhere so you can be aware of the giveaway when it becomes live. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you're excited as I am for this new patch to come on Tuesday. And if you want to donate $1 to my Patreon page, be aware that for the giveaway, if you are a $3 Patreon or more, you do get bonus entries to the giveaway. So if you're interested in being a Patreon for the month for this giveaway, link is in the description, as well as a card on the screen in the top right hand corner. You can click that. And if you want to check out the vlogging channel, tutorials channel, music channel, or the advice channel, links in the description as well as on the end screen. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching as always. And this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere.